Hey, this is Louis Hog doing a commentary for the Power Rangers episode of Atop the Fourth Wall, or as people really just are going to call it, just the Mechakara ending. So, yeah, where to start? Well, I guess I should probably start with one of the questions that people keep asking about in the comments section, which is why did we not have Ensign Monroe or the other Dr. Insano with the coat and all, or the Pyramid Head? Let's start with the Monroe and the other Dr. Insano. Those were never supposed to be part of this. They're remember the trailers for all of 2010, so they're going to appear in a future thing. As for why the Pyramid Head didn't appear, I did actually think about that. I did consider having Pyramid Head and the Pokeball make an appearance, but I decided just to save it for the next Silent Hill review. There's just so much other stuff that I could have included in this, but it's already really just chock full of so much stuff. I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, as it were. This is my dad's hand right here. He actually hit me quite a few times with a bunch of this stuff. One of the original ideas of this actually was going to grab me with the metal claw hand. It just didn't work out. And you'll notice, of course, the brown jacket in the background, any of these shots right here, that's actually a split screen. I tried to find another jacket like mine, just something we made out of corduroy, and nothing. I couldn't find a single thing. So, of course, there are wide shots where you see that clearly the jacket is not there. But I tried to do what I could with it. And I really have to thank Spoonie for all the work he put into this stuff. I mean, first of all, the Warrior comic was way back then, and I'm really so happy we did that, because it really just gave the excuse to have an alternate universe Poyo. Which brings me to the Mechakara stuff to begin with. When I first envisioned Mechakara, when it was just for the trailer. Now, I just had this idea of a robot Linkara with the metal hand. That's it. That was the impetus. I had no idea what else to do with it. I knew I was going to do something with it. I just didn't know what. And that's what you'll find a lot of my stuff. I come up with a great idea, and then I come up with an explanation later. Now, mind you, that can create some problems, but in my mind, if you're creative enough, if you have enough imagination, you should be able to come up with something like this. Otherwise, well, what are you? Okay, what else can I talk about? Well, let's see. I'm really happy with the response that people have gotten to this. People have said that if the series ended right here, that it would just be perfect, and now I just got to figure out a way to top it. I will admit I am kind of a little sad that there's not more of an even balance between reviewing and fighting in this. The first 5 or 6 minutes is just the explanation of the whole Mechakara stuff in general. And then the last 10 minutes or so is the fight and the ending gags and the credits and all that. And yeah, I am a little sad that there was stuff I missed during the actual review in the comic itself, but I was really rushing to get this out. I filmed this back in January. Most of it anyway. There was a couple of shots I had to do later on. The fight scene directly between me and Mechakara, where like the exchange of punches and the swishes and all that I actually filmed later on because it was a reshoot. The one I had filmed was originally just in front of the blank wall, and it looked horrible. And by around the cable review, I knew exactly the details of Mechakara, what he was planning and what he was doing. I wanted to pace myself. I wanted to have like the little clues and subtle hints planted all over. I did not want it to be just every single episode, because people would get sick of it. I just wanted to get to a point where people forgot about it, and then when it showed up again, it was like, oh my god, it's there again. That's what it is. And oh my god, what's he doing? What's he planning? The device that Mechakara is holding is actually a thermostat, and he's supposed to be like scanning the jacket, trying to find my magic gun. But it's actually our old thermostat that we pulled off the wall because it was broken. I didn't know exactly what I was going to review at first when this whole thing started. I eventually came across Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1, and I'm a Power Rangers fan, and I thought it would be great to review it. The instant I opened up the first page and saw Internet Festival 95, I knew I was going to review it. I didn't know for what, but I wanted to review it because, internet jokes, it's funny. It's it's what you can do with it. What else? Well, actually, eventually I came up with the idea of doing... here's the thing. Originally, it was just going to be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but then, timing-wise, I realized, crap, I gotta figure out what would be a good time to do this. Okay, I'll do it around the anniversary. Except the anniversary is supposed to be when I'm supposed to do Youngblood, and there's all this other stuff I want to do, so I can't push this back. So I said, screw it, I'll just post 2 reviews. I'll do Youngblood #2, and I'll do Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and... I'll have, the ending of Ultimates 3 be the explanation, be the setup, then I'll distract people with the review of Youngblood #2, and then bam, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers will be the review itself. I will say, if anything was tacked onto this, it was the Black Lantern Spoonie thing. The thing was, I wanted to have... we needed an explanation for why Spoonie came back to life and then didn't show up back at his house to attack or anything like that, and why he didn't just immediately come back and take his show back or anything like that. The explanation was just, Linkara kills him again and recruits him, and really, I admit it was mostly tacked on there. But it worked out in the end. We got some nice funny bits out of it. And actually, Spoonie really was happy he has a Black Lantern version of him running around. He has plans for that, he tells me. Speaking of which, people were saying that his Captain America review was supposed to be this big reference to it, and what was he planning? I had nothing to do with that. Ask Spoonie. He just included that himself and wore the Black Lantern ring. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't ask him to do anything for that. All I asked him to do was to stand in front of a green screen and pretend to hit me. Now, I should note a couple of things. First of all, yes, as a Power Rangers fan, I know enough about the Sentai, and I know that the Zords in Season 2 and 3 were not from the originals, and I know that the Ninja Ranger stuff, that the Die Rangers were used later as the Alien Rangers. Yes, I know. I do research. I do know this stuff. Please don't assume I'm stupid. Speaking of fan reaction to this, a few people guessed that it was Poyo for near the halfway through the saga, and kudos to you. Though I wanted to be a lot more subtle with it. Back during the Christmas special, the Extreme Super Christmas special, I had planned to just have Death point at Poyo, and then Poyo was just going to say, "Hey, oh hi, Linkara." But my dad suggested it should be, no, it should have another hint. It should be the Day of Reckoning is at hand or something like that, and that's what it ended up doing. And I think that just gave away the whole ball game right there. But hey, no one guessed it was Poyo from an alternate universe, so it works out there. Oh, Bulk and Skull, we love thee. Let's see what else. More on the fight and whatnot. Like I said, one of the ideas I had was to have the Pyramid Head show up and fight and, be killed by Mechakara. The thing is, I needed Mechakara to actually be a legitimate threat. I needed him to actually be able to defeat everything that came against him, like the guns and people punching him. He's just that strong. He's that powerful. You can't beat him, to the point where the only way to beat him was to escalate the power levels, to morph. I love this. The disc falls out of his pocket right away. It's that important, I see. And yeah, I do regret a couple of things I missed, like some of the coloring mistakes here and there that I missed, or the rather awkward pose that the Pink Ranger is in later on. I will say that later on I identify the thing as the Ninja Megazord, and people were quick to correct me. No, it's the Shogun Megazord. While I will admit I did know that I recognized it as a different Megazord. I just couldn't remember what it was, and the thing identified it as the Ninja Megazord. It said it was a Ninja Megazord, and they show the Ninja Zords forming up. So they were in the wrong. So while I admit my own wrongdoing, they were the ones who screwed up. They said that was the Ninja Megazord, and it's not. So ha! I contacted Buzzazrum, who had never watched my show before, about seeing if he was going to be doing a run with his kit daggers. He makes both fully made daggers as well as ones in kits, which are basically just blank and you paint them yourself. And I contacted him, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I heard you have this show, and if you do an ad for my show, I will cut the price down." And I was like, "Okay, I don't have a chance like this very often, so I'll just do that." Ah, yes, Lord Zed. I'll be doing a history of Power Rangers soon that will go into my feelings about Power Rangers as a whole. I'm going to watch every single episode. Well, I'll skip through some of the filler, and I'll cover everything and, explain it all. A lot of my bits, especially for text bits like this one right here, are ones that I come up with while I'm actually editing the episode. There are times where I just I just noticed something. I need to make a little note right here, and then just do the dee-doo sound, and it'll do that. And like that, I thought, I had to sit through all these morphing sequences, and you know what? Actually, what helps sell the morphing sequences on the show is the music, the awesome rock soundtrack of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it's really cool. And the fact that they managed to keep things so energized throughout a show like that, and I'm glad I had access to the music and was able to get all that stuff. Go Power Rangers! I filmed the actual review itself separate from the Mechakara fight. I actually wrote the fight itself out first, and then wrote the review and used it as book endings. So of course it's clearly obvious, it's not quite zoomed in enough. The ropes aren't exactly tied. My hands are supposed to be behind my back. I don't think it quite came off that way. The Ninja Mega Falcon Sword. I still laugh whenever I say that. Ninja Mega Falcon Sword. Why not just Ninja Mega Sword? And this bug monster just disappears when they shut off the internet. I just don't know how that works. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it really just ends everything in anticlimaxes. And I really should have, and I actually did film another thing at the end separately where I said, yes, it's stupid, it's dumb, and a bit anticlimactic, but it's Power Rangers. But I like the original take I had of it. What else? Yeah, there's that Pink Ranger down there who's completely unpainted. And the Conehead's here. Wow, that's just bad. And again, there's no explanation of why the copycatastrophe monster duplicates the principle like that. There's just no reason. It just does it. Why? And Angel Grove is one of the weirdest ass cities I've ever seen or heard of. I mean, it just there's always something going on. There's always an environmental cleanup, some community builder, take your kids to work, or just every single stupid thing. I'm kind of kicking myself right here because I really think I should have added the Bulk and Skull music for when they jumped out to try to fight the monster. But I guess that just would have been overkill. It's a brief bit that's not necessary. He's bleached his hair. I don't know why Rocky is blonde in this. It just doesn't make any sense. Billy looks like crap. I mean, by this point in the series, he'd actually stopped wearing his glasses, and he doesn't wear the geeky suspenders. Or why the red shirt? Did this person ever even watch a single episode of the show? Or have like a cast photo or something? What? And the red dwarf joke, yes, cesium, frankolithic, mixyellobidium, rixy, dixy, dexy, doxydroxide. I actually have memorized it. I don't remember the other combination, but yeah, I actually do like. I do like season 8 of Red Dwarf, except for Critey TV. That one was just bleh. But I like that one. I like Back to Earth. Back to Earth, wasn't that great. I mean, I actually do. I'm one of the people who really misses the laugh track. But overall, I thought it was fulfilling, and I'm glad it exists. I really like Dave's scene in the end where he's like, "I've been dead for you," and there's that pose right there, like, wow. I've been dead for ages, man. I've been dead for ages, man. Just sitting alone, getting fat. And you have the Shogun Megazord. That's just sitting down. Why? And just man, monster just vanishes. Come on, this is Power Rangers. It's all about the action. We want to see punching and kicking and laser beams and everything, not just we're kind of holding swords against each other. Bah. And really, they say they did it with teamwork and brains, and what? They didn't do that. All they did was just say, hey, we gotta push the power limits. That way it can't handle it. That's it. That's it. I don't get it. And here we get the fight itself, and I'm the only regret I have is I couldn't use more of the music fight, which is one of my favorite tunes. And I was kind of hoping to use it during the team up we'll see later with Harvey Fine voice and 90s Kid and all that, because of the specific lyric, which is all of us are on your side, we'll take him down. And it just seems like it fit perfectly, but it just didn't work. The dagger you see here is not the kit dagger. This is the prop dagger that I made a video of explaining how I made it. It was specifically made because I knew I was going to do this, and I wanted something higher quality to do. That's my mom who just crushed my hand there. She was doing that. She was the stunt person as Mechakara there. And again, props to Spoonie for doing this for me. I managed to just green screen him in. And yeah, the Phoenix Down thing, for those who don't know, it's an item in Final Fantasy that revives unconscious or dead people. That's what I used in the Blackest Night special to bring him back to life the last time. And this right here is a reference to Spoonie's SWAT 4 videos. You're standing in my way. The NPCs in that game will continually say, "You're standing in my way, sir. You're in my way, sir." And it just bugs the crap out of Spoonie. And so I figured, enough rage that would push him over the edge, throw him off the ring, and come back. And of course, he's no help whatsoever because he just punches me out. So will Black Lantern Spoonie return? You'll have to ask him. He improv the line of him breaking his foot in my ass. I just had to use that because, of course, he broke his foot at the charity drive. People are wondering why I walked back over there. I'm going to say it's because I was dizzy and disoriented and I wasn't sure where I was going. Because, Spoonie just hit me. I just evaded 2 photon torpedoes. And I should note that the effects there, the photon torpedoes, that was my dad who there actually hit me with that a couple of times. Thanks, Dad. But it was more accurate, I guess. That was my mom there. And this time was just several different takes used in succession. My mom again. And 90s Kid. I actually have to thank Master the Creator, Al Alabaster, the conspiracy guy, however he wants to call himself these days, as a guy who came up with 90s Kid from the waist down. He actually was the one who thought of having, in a title card, having 90s Kid wear cut-off jeans and Chuck Taylor Converses. So I bought a pair of jeans and cut off the bottom so I could use it just for that shot. And Ninja Style Dancer, that effect right there and the one later on were possibly the most difficult to do in this whole mess, because I had to dig out a copy of Adobe After Effects. It was like version 5.5, which is like years old. So I wasn't even sure if it was going to work on my computer. And it did. It's just, it wouldn't use like half the file formats I tried to convert it to, and most of the formats it did use looked like crap. And it was an entirely new software I had to learn how to use. And yeah, and you see in the background shot there, the code is missing. But I figured no one would notice that because of this anecdote that I'll get to in a minute. And yeah, this is the face. This makeup was a pain in the ass to get working. It's spirit gum underneath to apply the face, and then nose putty all around the edges. And it's the nose putty that gave us the most trouble, because I don't know if I just didn't have it the right temperature or something, but it would not, like, spread or smooth out, and as a result, it just looked terrible. We fixed it by just adding in fake blood all around it. But I was worried that the effect wouldn't work and it was just going to be a nightmare. We did film the Mecha fight stuff actually 3 days after we filmed the initial fight stuff, because, we were only going to get one shot at this, so we had to get it right. And I love this shot right here because it really just makes the effect work. There are a few shots where it looks really shoddy, and by the end it was really starting to come off. But there are a couple of shots like that one, it just looks great. And if you notice, the reason why the light stopped blinking was because it kept screwing with the focus. Otherwise, I would have kept it going the entire way, but I just switched off the light. The light is actually one of those mouth lights you can find at a Spirit Halloween store that you put inside your mouth, click it, and it blinking lights. Thanks to the red transparent stuff right there, it made it look like it was all red, but a couple of times you can see the blue light coming in as well. One of the other ideas I had for the makeup was actually to have like wires and stuff around it, like there was like layers of computer technology, but it just didn't get realized in the actual version. I had planned on myself being much more beat up and bloody, but the stuff was really runny, so I only put on so much. And this sequence right here, which I just had to do. I had to morph, and this is the actual pose that they do in like a few episodes where they like spin around and say it's morphin' time. An internet reviewer. That was me in front of a black screen, and of course it creates a nice little continuity error because I'm wearing my glasses in that. But that's okay, because on the show they just reused the same shot of them morphing over and over again, and it worked, even if they were wearing completely different clothes. And the Power Rangers theme song, I love that. Gotta thank the people of RangerBoard.com who helped me find the sound effects for the swish sound when they, yeah, right like that, right there. The Blade Blaster is one of the original toys from the early 90s. And the effects right here were done in 3ds Max. It's a 3D effects software that I used a long time around my old copy and fixed it up and just got out of that. And Poyo, my little robot buddy here, his shots were filmed like 2 weeks later because, of course, he's just behind the couch. What else? There's always so much more I want to say during this stuff, and I always forget what it is. Yeah, there's an anecdote. Will Wheaton, who many of you will know as Wesley from Star Trek The Next Generation, during one of his first episodes of the show, they noticed the fact that the people in the background were just basically, walking in circles and just going back and forth, and they were like, hey, wouldn't someone notice this? Someone's gonna notice that the stuff in the background is gonna, and they're gonna like say, what the hell? But the director told them, if they're paying more attention to the stuff in the background than they are the people who are talking and doing stuff on screen, there's something wrong. So, since no one's commented on the fact that the jacket keeps disappearing in the background, it looks like I've actually done my job. I wasn't originally going to have the cable gun here, but people figured, the Chekhov's gun kind of deal. I had to show it after all that stuff, so I figured, okay, I'll have it be the ending weapon to defeat Mecha. I don't remember how I planned to originally defeat him. I think Poyo just hacked him and made him blow up or something. And Poyo there. I had no transition shot between there, so I just had the shot of Poyo turning his head. It's really cheap, and it's the only thing I could do. because otherwise it was too soon after I picked up the gun and put it down. Poyo's rant about Garth Ennis was actually originally going to be longer and more mean-spirited, but I figured that the thing is, there are a lot of Preacher fans who watch my show, and Preacher fans out there, so I did not want to upset them or piss them off, so I changed it and toned it down a bit, and basically just turned it basically into, there are not enough robots, and why is there a character that has sex with a chicken? And also I didn't want to end the review on something negative and just get people all pissed off after that whole big thing. One of the alternate ideas I had for that was that Poyo would get on and say, actually, post one more day, Spider-Man's actually been really good. And that would have been funny too, and that would have just made me mad, but there's only so many ways I can beat a dead horse. And in the background there, yes indeed, those are the Nintendo Comics collections. Those were recently donated to me, so I'm going to try to figure out a way to do a review on them, and also use the 8-bit version of my theme song that someone, that I believe it was Skitch actually made for me. And of course the ending credits using the movie version of the Power Rangers theme. And I really like this version too. I was on the fence about which version to use during the actual review. And of course, special props to everybody who helped. And yes, my dad requested that he be credited as best boy. I do not know why. I got a lot of mileage out of this, and of course, I'm really happy that most everybody loved it. And I'm so glad I found Attack of the Killer Tomatoes for that one gag at Youngblood number 2. There were actually like 20 or 30 songs used in this actual review. And I list all of them. Everybody, go Power Rangers! I want to use Lord Zed's theme a bit more too. That's such a great theme song. And of course, special thanks to just everybody who helped out with this. Amethyst Angel, who helped me build the prop that I used in the actual review. Buzz's Room for giving me the discount. Mike Michaud for, of course, being the president of the company. Mike Ellis for putting up the stuff and putting up with me wanting to do special things for it. And of course, yes, the original producers of Zeo Ranger. Yes, I know about the Sentai. I've never watched them, but I know about them. But at the same time, you are all such wonderful fans. I love you all. You really, I just... I cannot gush about you guys enough. I was donated 2 morphers for this review. One of them I dropped and broke and was all scratched up and stuff, and I was just happy that people, were so nice and willing to give me this stuff, because these things are rare and hard to find. Well, not really that hard to find, just really expensive. I decided at the very end that it should be Insano who actually beats Mechakara, because Mechakara, it's the new villain versus the old villain. I figured, poetic justice, Insano comes back and defeats him in the end. And that's the reason why you cut away and just see the part of the explosion, because Insano, that bright flash of light was actually Insano teleporting him away. And people were wondering, he cut his hair? What are you talking about? If you look at the stingers for Countdown Part 2, that's where it comes from. He says, he's really mean too, he made me cut my hair! To match up with the fact that Spoonie had just gotten his hair cut. And this was actually another Power Rangers reference that no one caught because it's a lot more subtle, and probably because Spoonie added a line. Originally, it was just him saying, "I'm back," to match what Lord Zed said at the end of Zeo Rangers. So, that's the review. Thanks for watching and enjoying.